Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Universal Lens. What do you mean I'm not going to eat dinner? If we don't get the show started, I'm not going to eat dinner. That's what it means.
Filled with content.
How's everybody doing?
They can't respond.
Why not? Respond.
They can't respond.
Let me hear you. Speak to me.
Pleasure to be here, guys. We have another great show on tap. Do we?
We always have a great show
We
on
always have a
tap.
great show. Yeah, we speak from the heart. We don't have in the old days we used to have some sort of outline. Now we don't have an outline. What we have is
I don't have an outline. I always write stuff down, but a lot of them we've talked about already. I just don't delete them.
but we're gonna have to revisit everything because as we do every show, we remind ourselves that shit. We've talked about this in some capacity, but everything's sort of linked. You know what I mean? Like we always say it's one spinal cord with different vertebrae, but it's always the same spinal cord, and that's kind of our thing. And so you get to run out of topics unless we have special guests on.
You don't? No, I don't think you run out. I don't think it's about running out of topics because the topic is the same.
Yeah,
they're the same. Watching the shit in your head.
Yeah,
and realizing that you aren't that crap that's in between your ears.
Yeah, and it's hard to.
Right? In a nutshell.
It's hard to come to that realization.
It is, of course.
A lot of us are stuck in what we think is real. It's reality. I just came over. It's me. Like we do this show. I just came over and I was talking to you about a stressor I had today, and you're looking at me like, "Is this guy fault? Are you going to go off the rails?" I'm like, "I'm not going off the rails. I now have the ability to notice what I have felt, what I have done, and so I kind of open the cupboards for you and let you see it all. But that's you because you're my private mentor or guru. But yeah, so that's part of it. Is just basically like you don't have to believe the story in your head because sometimes we're attached to that story. You're like, that's,
of course we are.
Like that's just how it is. That's how I am. That's just how I am. Man. So. And you can call that whatever you want, I'm just an anxious person. I'm anxious. My whole life I've been anxious. So, all right.
Are you anxious? Or are you experiencing anxiety?
Experiencing
anxiety, right? It's all about the experience. It's not about we are. It's very easy to say that. When we get back into that we are mentality, when we align with when we fuse with our mind again, it's that's when we identify with and we think we are whatever it's saying.
I think like personality type, if that's even a thing, but personality has something to do with it because there's a certain percentage of us, when I say us, I mean humans, that are going to believe a story that, again, what's real, but we're going to believe a story where we can do more than what we think. And then there's another percentage of us, which I think is the grand majority, that have limiting beliefs. And that usually the ego will creep in there and go, "What do you mean you're going to have a podcast? I mean, a podcast? Are you serious?" And I think most of us have that limiting belief. But you mentioned something before the show that I loved, which is if that thought wasn't there. And that's like coaching gold. So that's why I said like,
I was doing that in a session before with somebody.
And you did it to me yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday when you texted me and I said, "Well."
Oh, when I was texting you, yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, you're good." Yeah. So if that thought wasn't there, would you want to do something different?
Yeah, if that thought wasn't there, how would you be living your life?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to do something, and something's holding you back. What you call it in coaching, they call it a block, right? You have a block, a mental block. Well, obviously everybody knows what that is. But you have a block, and that block stops you from doing certain things, right? What happens if that block? And the way you like to pose it to somebody, and I learned this years ago, but it's funny because I'm hearing it again as I'm going through my coaching classes. It's if that block wasn't there, if that thought wasn't there right now, would you choose to do that thing? And resounding, the response resoundingly is usually, of course I would. So what's stopping you? or the thought. So let's try it again. If that thought wasn't there, would you do that? Whatever the fear might be. I'm scared to
Public speaking.
Yeah,
which is a big one.
Which is a big one. And by the way, it doesn't mean that when you do it, there's no anxiety there.
Right.
It means that while you're doing it, you're just not. You're choosing to live a valued and meaningful life and doing something you care about, in spite of the anxiety being there. But if that thought wasn't there, would you do it anyway? Most people say yes. Okay. So then we have a choice, right? And they're like, yeah. So what do we want to choose to do? I would love to choose to do it. And it's like this. Okay. You chose to do it. Let's do it. Do it. Try it. Start the process. And then it's going to be like, I know, but by the time I get here and I got to get there, I go, all right. You have the alphabet from A to Z, right? You go, we don't go from A to Z, right? I go, if you go, okay, I'm starting at A. Oh my God, Z is all the way down there. By the time I learn how to do it, it's only you've created this daunting image in your head already, and your mind's going to give you every reason to be like, no fucking way. It's too long. I can't do it. I'm done. Not doing it. Okay, not A to Z. A to B. A, we'll come to, so now we're going to do A to B. We're going to bridge that gap by taking the first step. Then we bridge from B to C, right? That's just to use you can use numbers, whatever you want to use. It's to show you take the first step, then you take the second step, then you take the third step, and you keep that process going. You don't sit here and go, well, I'm never going to get to the end of this. I'm never going to accomplish that. Look how far. It's not about that. You want to choose to learn how to do this thing or work on this project or whatever it might be, or lose weight or learn how to fly a plane, learn whatever it is, learn how to be a real estate agent. You got to take the first step. You got to take the second step. So, but the thoughts will be there. The anxieties are going to be there. The mind's going to tell you every reason not to do something. And this was posed to me years ago, and I learned this years ago, and through acceptance and commitment therapy, but also through spirituality. It's like, if that thought was not there, what would you do? And the resounding answer is, I would do this. Right. That's where ACT comes in. It's like, you would choose to do something you value and it's meaningful, correct? Yes. So why not choose to do that thing? Because of a thought, which is nothing more than learned letters and words, which we've absorbed and learned in our lives. Words, letters, words, and images, none of which are fact, true, or happening in this moment. It is a thought, an image, which brings up a feeling. That's just the way the mind responds to. The mind gets an image, the mind gets a thought. It registers what that thought means. That thought, initiates a response in the body. You can't help that part. You can help the part to choose to do the things you want to do in spite of it. And the more you do that, the more your mind starts to learn to maybe give you less of those boogeyman, scary thoughts that we like to call. And you get to choose to do things you want. Not that the anxieties are always gone, because we spoke about that last week, right? It's not about, like I said with Dr. Russ Harris, who still gets anxiety when he does public speaking, like sweaty hands, heart racing. He gets a fear that he's going to say something stupid or misstep when he's speaking. It's not that doesn't, but you don't give it any credence when it does come up now. So it doesn't have that hold on you that it used to have. So yeah,
it's daunting. Right?
Sure, it can feel daunting.
It's daunting to think. Actually, you could just hear your ego right now going, you're envisioning yourself at Z. And that's the problem, is that you can't see yourself at Z.
No.
And you're like, I want you to get to B, not Z. But the fact that you can't see yourself at Z, you're done. And literally, not only are you, when I say you're done, meaning, you're not going to even try, even though you want to, every part of you wants to. Nope, not going to do it.
Oh, so you believe that fearful thought.
Yeah, same thing. You're going to write a book. You're going to write a book. You were a B student at best in English, whatever.
You might not be too far from the truth.
But write a book. Who do you think you are? You could write a book. You wrote a book. You're done.
Yeah,
you did A, B, C.
Yeah, no, yeah,
C,
absolutely,
D.
Absolutely. It was a process.
You didn't do Z.
No, you can't.
You didn't go A, X, Y, Z.
Well, that's that whole self gratification, not instant gratification. Like you want it now,
and
that's not how it works.
I'm gonna sort of talk to us right now. ourselves. So we're talking about this show, and we're talking about how we have a nice uptick as of late.
Yeah, followers.
New people following, new people listening, which is all great. But remember, there was a time where we would say the same thing. We never saw ourselves at Z, but we don't know where we are if we're at A to B, if we're at B to C, C to D. We just do our thing.
We just do our thing and let it grow and let it take its own life.
But before we did our thing, we're like, do it.
Before you do anything in life, your mind will give you 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody's mind is going to give them 1,000 reasons. Some people might give them 10. Some people give them 1,000. Some people give them 3. But everybody's mind will give you a reason why you can't accomplish that. The question is, or why you can't do it. The question is, are you choosing to listen to that? Do you choose to listen to that anyway, or not?
Right. And the parallels of this and self-development, self-development work where Bob Proctor and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and all these people.
Yeah.
Self-development is exactly the same. So in self-development, you'd say, well, I feel like crap about myself. I feel like I'm stuck in this job. I feel like I'm not going anywhere. Usually it's just beating up of yourself, and then you take yourself out of the game completely, right? Because you zombify yourself, right?
Yeah.
Where you go to work. Is it 4:30? 4:52. You're like, all right. 4:52, 4:54, 4:58 is official. And when you stop and think about that mindset, like, what are we doing? Like, we're just waiting for life to finish. We're waiting.
Yeah, I like that one. You're waiting for life to finish.
We don't know it. Like, in our mind, we are just done with our workday. But when like I said, the parallels for self-development are there. Where are you leading a meaningful life to yourself? As far as it goes for you, is this meaningful for you? I think 9 out of 10 would probably say, yeah, nah, not really.
That's sad, right? That's even probably a fairly accurate number.
But they teach the same thing. In other words, hey, nobody wants you to be at Z, but notice that you're not happy with your situation. Okay, round 1, or let's say A, accomplished.
Even if you're not happy, it's not about being happy with your situation. It could be anything you want to do. It could be something you've wanted to learn how to do in life.
Exactly.
It don't have to be major life changes, right? It's not about even about the smallest things that just give you an anxiety of, I would love to, like you said before, I'd love to start a podcast. So why don't you? Oh, nobody wants to hear me.
Yeah.
It's not about
who do I think I am, Joe Rogan?
Hold on a second. It's not about anybody wanting to hear you. Would you want to start a podcast to talk about something that you're passionate about, or that you care about, or that you value, and you find meaningful and helpful in life? Yes. So I'll ask you another question. What's stopping you from doing it? Well, I don't know if anybody's going to listen. Where's that coming from? It's a thought I had. So a thought you had is stopping you from doing something that you find meaningful and valuable. Yes. And the best way to do it with somebody, let's run it back. A thought
didn't pick up on it yet.
You had is stopping you. How many yous are you in your body? Are stopping you from doing something you find valuable and you want to do? Yes. Whose thought is it? It's my thought. Do you want that thought? Of course I don't want it. So then why are you choosing to obey it instead of choosing to do what you value and want to do? And then eventually the person goes, I see. But it's going to feel uncomfortable. Yes, time out. This isn't about that it's not going to feel uncomfortable. You're going completely against the grain. Do not expect it not to feel uncomfortable, I'll tell you, right? And that's the fair warning. Expect it to kick back and be like, whoa, mine. Not,
yeah.
John, I'm telling you I don't want to do this. Why are you making me do this? Because I value it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. That's fine. I'm willing to go through that because it's something that I care about. And at the end of the day, all we have in life is things that we value and we find meaningful, and they give us purpose in life. Not about how we feel while we're doing it. The feeling of joy or happiness or fun or not fun or anxious or not anxious That's going to ebb and flow. There'll be days when you do it and you're going to feel great about it. Then there's going to be days where you feel, like before my practice session before, I hit a wall out of nowhere. I don't know. I had a thought came into my head. I don't even know what the thought was. I can't even tell you, but I had a drop in energy all of a sudden. I just felt like, whoa. I was like, oh my God, I got to go into a session. I came down. My mind was like, oh my God, I just want to relax. I came down. I sat here at my laptop and I focused on what I want to do. And you know what ended up happening? Whatever feeling of low energy I had dissipated, and I was engrossed in what I was doing. And I found it valuable and meaningful, and like, wow, I'm trying to help this person, and this is great. And we're talking about things and helping them get through blocks and stuff. And it all went away. All went away. Where'd it go? And that's the best part. I go this. Where did that thought go?
Where'd it go?
Okay. Like, so we talk about my tinnitus, right? And I've been telling Henry, I've been practicing for like the list. I've been putting like act 2. I went through act. What would you call it? Not to you. I'm going to use a Henry term. I went through act boot camp. I put myself through. Like I went back to act 1, like step 1, step 2. Like I went through my progression. Okay, this is what act is, and I refreshed myself because I was getting caught in relaxed habits, very relaxed. My mind was lulling me to sleep for a while, and it still tries to do that. And I took my act book out and I went through my progression again. I started learning everything again, and I applied it to the tinnitus. It's there. Like right now, I could hear a slight ringing. There are times during the day it disappears completely. Good money is it doesn't go away. I'm not giving it because when it's there, I started choosing. I don't care that it's here. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself, even though my mind wants me to. What am I doing? And I would do this 10 times in an hour. What am I doing right now? I'm doing this. I'm watching the game with my kid. I'm watching the game with my wife. I'm watching the show with my wife. I'm talking to my daughter. And then 10 minutes will go by and I'll be like this. Where'd it go? And it's like, but wait, where did it go? It was there. I chose not to give it attention anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? That's the crazy part. And it's not that you could do that constantly because you can't choose not to.
Right.
Because once you start trying to choose not to, you're choosing to give it attention.
Right.
It's almost of like a letting go and just focus where you want to focus. We're not pushing it away. It's allowing it to be there. And it's not that my tinnitus goes away because it doesn't go away. Maybe it will someday. I don't know. But it's at times I choose to be so involved in what I'm doing and what I find meaningful and valuable in my life at that moment. Could be fixing something. I was in my house in PA yesterday all day, 2 days ago, fixing something on my Jeep up there when my buddy came up with me. I was in my garage for 3 hours, 4 hours. If I could tell you, I didn't hear nothing for 3 hours except for the voices. Motherfucker, the screw won't go in. Like, oh, God,
engrossed in...
I wanted to do this and I was giving my attention. I didn't hear nothing else. Then all of a sudden, we get in the car on the way home. Oh, there it is again. I hear it. And then it went away during the night again. Then, there it is again. My friend went to bed. So the point I'm trying to make is, where did it go? It never went away. I chose to just say, this is what I want to do. If it wants to be here, it can be here. And what happens is, eventually, it's still there. That anxiety might still be there. But when you're not giving it the attention, it's not a boogeyman anymore. Now it's just a thing that's happening, that's there. And when you don't make it the boogeyman and you look at it kind of what it is, it's a noise. Okay. It's a thought. It's a feeling. Okay. Is it stopping me from doing this right now? No. You do that. That choice is what gives you meaning in life. Like, that's it.
Well, it helps you realize that you have a choice.
You have a choice, but that's when you're like, I get to live my life my way. Like how I want to. Not that it's great, everything's perfect. No, but
Right.
But would I rather live my life choosing to do the things I want to do, or be prisoner to a thought in my mind, or be prisoner to a feeling in my mind?
And we are, for the most part, I see, we're all prisoners of some sort.
Sure, we are, absolutely.
It's hard because, again, we come back, we're still human. So we still will slip on a banana peel.
Absolutely.
And I got to say this. I want to ask you something.
We do. I do.
Right?
I do.
Yeah.
There's times where I fuse with the sound and I'm like, fuck, it's there. And I'm like, okay, it's there. And I refocus, and I kind of just say, what would I want to do if it wasn't there? And I refocus on it. And that's it. Not that I don't like My mind doesn't want to go, oh, it's there. Of course it does.
So you know how, again, I'm not saying that I am or I experience obsessive compulsive tendencies, because I can't say that.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not,
fine lines between
right.
excessive thinking.
I'm not gonna
Sure.
diagnose myself in any capacity, but I will say this: there are times where you just be going out, say, through your day, a day like today. It was a pretty stressful day, and have things happening. And then you get up from, so I'm working, right? I get up from my chair, and I have this thing that keeps eating at me, right? Whatever that thing is, it's something that just happened, but it keeps eating at me. So, as a matter of strategy, and the reason I mentioned this to you, number one, to see if I'm on the right track, and number two, if it's of value for the audience. I've done some tricks, and you taught me this when the dishwashing trick, where you're doing
Bring your attention.
right.
Bring your attention to what you're doing.
So literally, I reduced it to this. I got up to get a glass of orange juice. In my mind, and I dictate to myself in my, I don't say it out loud.
What you're doing,
Yeah.
exactly what you're doing.
I'm taking the orange juice out of the fridge.
Bring yourself into the present moment.
I'm opening the screw cap, literally.
Yeah.
Like something that sounds so stupid.
You're storytelling yourself.
Right. I'm opening the screw cap. I'm pouring it right now. I'm gonna stop pouring. I'm gonna put, like, you might think I'm a madman, but
no, you're bringing yourself into the present moment.
I interrupted the loop,
the hamster, the loop,
because I'm not saying that thought was going to completely take me over for the entire day, although you never know, sometimes it does. But at the moment, I wanted it to stop. It wasn't, it wasn't anything productive. It was just tormenting.
You made a choice to come back into the present moment.
Yeah, it was just tormenting.
That's mindfulness. So you applied mindfulness to it. Now, the only thing I tell people when you do that is this is what caught me in the beginning when I had the rug pulled out from underneath me about a month so ago, is and we talked about this last week, don't expect the mindfulness to make that thought go away. Because if you expect it to make it go away, you're not fooling yourself. Your mind's not going to fall for it. Your mind is smarter than you are. If that makes any sense, your mind is smarter than you. It means your mind is going to keep evolving. So it's like,
we've learned anything.
Yeah, it's like this. Okay, I'm doing my hands. I'm washing my hands. I'm drinking. I'm drinking. Okay. Shit, it's still there. Okay, like if you do that, the mind's going to be like, the mind's like this. I'll wait.
Yeah. Oh,
you done? I'm still here.
That little prick will wait forever.
Yeah. So
Your
it's like this.
entire life.
It's more like this. It's like this. It's more like, do you want to come with me and go get a glass of orange juice? Come on. Do you want to come with me and sit on me on the couch? Come on. Do you want to come with me while I'm doing my podcast? Come on. I'm going to keep choosing to do the things I want to do. And eventually, your mind's not working. It's not there to harm you. It's doing what it's built to do. Eventually, you train it to be like, all right, well, that's not important. It's like the clock that rings on the wall at 15 minutes. 4 hours will go by, you don't hear it. All of a sudden, you hear it. And you're like, wait,
what happened?
I've been home for 4 fucking hours. I haven't heard that thing go off. It goes off every 15 minutes. What happened? Your mind's like, that's not important. It doesn't register it. If there was a recorder playing, that thing would have gone off. If you played the tape back, what you were doing, you'd be like this. Oh, yeah, I was doing that. And ding, it rang. You just didn't hear it ring.
You were ear blind
because you weren't giving it any important attention. That's all. And it eventually you will hear it again. Eventually that thought will come back again. Eventually the anxiety will kind of peek its head, or the low feeling. It will, because that's just the way things that are ingrained in our mind don't disappear. There's no delete button, as Dr. Stevens says. Try to delete a thought. Let me know how that works here.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I'll give $1 million to the first person who could delete a thought. You can't delete a thought.
Yeah, I use it more as an interrupter.
Yes, interrupter's fine, as long as you're aware that it's an interrupter.
It's an interrupter,
not an extinguisher.
Yeah, no, it's an interrupter.
Yeah,
because I know this because I'm a little bit more, let's say, advanced.
Sure, absolutely, you are.
Day one, so I know what I'm in for. But I know what I'm in for. But I use it as an interrupter just to kind of say, hey, I don't want you here. Come on. I want to reduce my decibels a little bit right
Yeah,
now.
sure. I
So
hear
that's
you.
why I get up. So sometimes I've spoken to you about this where you just get up a lot and I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that.
It's your mind saying,
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered doing this. Let's go get a
Yeah.
cookie.
I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that.
And I've gotten up to get the cookie sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, you know what?
I got
Fuck it.
3 of them.
I'm like this. I'm like, you know what? I know what you're doing, but that's a good idea. I do want a cookie. I'm going to choose to go get a cookie.
Yeah.
Not because you want me to, because I actually want to go get a cookie. And you just don't do it all the time. That's the whole thing.
My wife made some.
Your wife made some nice bagels. I saw the pictures of her bagels.
She made 3. She left 3 beautiful chocolate chunk cookies. Oh, it's like crack. I had to have it.
I got to stop by during the day.
Oh, so good. But anyway, yeah, and that's basically your mind wanting an escape. Your mind saying, "No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna." So at that moment, when I got up for this particular thing, it's because I was in a bit of a vice, and I got up.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's making a choice to walk away, to take a breath and recenter yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
That's super helpful.
That's a helpful tip, and again, in mindfulness, it was the dishwashing trick. So I used it for the orange juice.
Whatever, yeah.
So,
input.
Yeah.
Input X and whatever your X is.
Yeah, and I shared that trick with my kids because, they'll come to me and tell me, this problem or whatever test or whatever, depending on the kid, how it affects them.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody's different.
this might sound weird, but whatever you're doing, repeat what you're doing. I am picking up my phone. I am turning on my alarm. I am.
Well, it's bringing your attention to the present moment. One of the first things I learned when I was years ago when I was started therapy, and my anxiety is coming all over the place. I remember Dr. Tatiana told me, she goes, ground yourself. She goes, look around and call out in your mind what you see: tree, car, red, green. And it's an interrupter, but it's a way to pump the brakes on the spiral. If you feel like you're it's a way to pump the brakes and bring yourself back to a little bit of presence where you are, and kind of refocus and ground yourself a little bit. That's all it is. Yeah.
And
that's a little bit of mindfulness.
We've mentioned it on other previous episodes, but since we don't speak brain, right? We don't speak that language, unfortunately. So we call it brain, but in reality, it's not brain, because a brain is more of a CPU.
It's an ever adapting, ever learning machine. That's why I always say to people, I go, you will never be smarter than your mind. Your mind, if you try to outsmart your mind, you're not going to. Your mind
you're not tricking it.
You're not going to trick your mind. It's realizing you're not trying to trick your mind. It's accepting your mind and using, and by accepting your mind and not trying to control your mind, you know what you do get? Paradoxically, it's like a paradox. What you try to not get, you end up getting back. If I try not to control my mind and I accept it for the way it is, I get not control over my mind, but I get control back. Control of choice, control of my life, control of how I want to live, because I'm not trying to control my mind. That's it.
But yeah, and it's freaky when you're in it. You realize it, like, wow, this is, and I'm telling you, the parallels, to me, that's the first thing that jumps out at me, are the parallels between this and religion, the parallels between this and self-development, the parallels. There's so many parallels. As a matter of fact,
because it's all, everything you just mentioned was created by what? What created it all? The same thing, the same mind that created self-development or created religion, the same tool that created all these different things is the mind. As Eckhart Tolle says, he goes, the mind has given us this. He goes, the same tool or the same thing that gives us art and music and inventions and technology and all these wonderful things is the same thing that tortures people on a daily basis, because people who are unconscious and not aware do not know the difference between them and their mind. So when their mind is in their favor, it's in their favor. When their mind's against them, they're tortured and it's against them. And it's realizing the mind is going to ebb and flow. It's, are you watching it ebb and flow? Are you noticing what it's doing? Are you realizing you're not it and you could use it as a tool? And it's not that, I know I make it sound easy, and it's not that it's, you're going to fuse to your mind. You're going to attach to it. Your awareness is going to get closer at times. At times it's going to feel like it's really far apart, but it's always, as even Eckhart Tolle says, he goes, if in that moment you're fused or you're attached to that feeling, notice you're attached to that feeling is already a detachment from the feeling. Noticing that you're attached, like when I remember when I was having a little anxiety not too far back, I would say to myself, I know I'm attached to it right now, but I know I'm noticing I'm attached to it. And right there is a detachment from it. Like that's the awareness saying, I know I'm attached. I see I'm attached. Okay, I'm not here. Maybe I'm here. I'm a few inches away from you, but I'm not glued to you. I could still see you even though you're in front of me. I don't like the way you feel. I don't want you to be here, but I could see that you, and right away that starts to slowly gives you the space.
Supermarket conveyor belt, and you just put the little plastic thing that separates your order from my order.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is. And so it's not, again, it's not to make it sound like it's sunshine and rainbows, but it's freedom in how you want to live your life.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Mind blowing. Because how could you not be attached to your feelings? How can you to the thoughts in your mind? So it's so easy, right? Because hey, I was right about that. You're attached. I was right. Yeah, it ended up the way I thought. Yeah, positive. I was right. Of course. All of a sudden, inverse. Dude, totally wrong. Oh my God. Now look what I did. You're attached. And you're attached and you're attached and you're attached. So because you've been on this attachment train your entire existence, and by the way, you will always be. So the whole point is to notice it, right? To notice
absolutely.
it. But you will always be attached. You will always gravitate towards attaching yourself to everything. But if you notice it, then you won't have that attachment. That you won't have that, sync with the ship.
You won't sync with the ship. You'll have a life preserver.
You won't sync with the ship.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this. Like going back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the show, when you said that it's about making a choice, right? What is a thought, right? What is that? It's realizing where that thought is coming from. Like, we've talked about this when you're doing affirmations or when you're doing meditations. If a thought pops in, people go, I had this thought when I was meditating. And I'm like, okay, I have them too. I don't like the thoughts I get sometimes when I'm meditating. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, did that come from? But they come up. And I go, did you want that thought to be there? Meaning, did you fuse with the mind and go, okay, mind, now awareness and mind are coming together. We're going to solve this issue, right? How do I put this wall up? I need to figure out how this wood goes on the wall. That's me fusing with my mind and saying, okay, I need to I need to cut that. I need to cut that. The mind is doing what it's built to do. When you're meditating, you're like, the mind's like, you don't need me? Boo. Here comes the thought. And you're like, oh, why'd I have that thought? And I say, did you fuse and bring that thought up? Did you script
that? No.
No. It's not your thought. But I had it. You experienced it. It came up. It's energy. Your mind's still moving. It's working. It's thinking. It's processing. It's analyzing.
Don't attach to it.
It's not who you are. It's not your thought.
Yeah. Don't attach to it.
Yeah. That's it. And I go, and I know that, again, it sounds easy, right? But
realize it's normal.
Exactly. That was the point I was probably trying to get to, is we all have that thought that tells us boo, or you can't, or you shouldn't, or this is the worst, or oh my God, I'm scared, or blah, 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 blah. We all have them. But if you didn't want that thought to be there, whose thought was it? It's just a behavior pre-programmed, your environment, your upbringing, your social environment, your friends, your acquaintances, your traumas, just things you've experienced in life, and your mind formulates and goes, pop, send this one up. But I didn't bring it. And it's funny when you say that, right? When I say, I didn't want it, who the hell's I? And who's my mind? It's a great question, and then you should sit on that for a little while and maybe meditate on that one. Who am I, and who is my mind?
How about for the next 70 years?
Yeah, if I didn't want that thought, whose thought is it? And a lot of people are going to go, that's too much for me. Okay, that might be too much for you. I can understand it can be a little trippy if you're looking at it that way, but that's what the awareness is. We're the one who's watching ourselves have these thoughts. It's realizing they're not who we are. If we don't like the feeling we get when we have a thought, whose thought was it? Meaning you didn't bring it up. You didn't legitimately sit there and go, okay, I want a boogeyman thought in the middle of here it is. Okay. I could do that if I want to. I could bring a boogeyman thought up, but I'm bringing it up now. I'm purposely bringing it up for a reason, right? When it shows up on its own and it gives you that, like I said before, I was doing stuff today, and all of a sudden I had a thought, and I don't remember what it was. I really don't. And then all of a sudden I had a immediately drop. I was like, whoa, what was that? I didn't register what the thought was, but it must have been something that was probably a spooky thought or an anxious thought for me at some point, right? And everything dropped. I was like, okay. But I didn't want that to be there, so I just continued doing what I was doing. What you don't want to do is, what was that thought? What does it mean? Where did it come from? Why is it crooked lettered? Leave. Why is it crooked letter? Leave why alone. We don't need to know why. Why? Because I don't know why. But
so first thing for
sorry, I went on a rant.
No, for rookies, if that happens, don't attach to it. So if you're in your one of your first meditation sessions, and all of a sudden, unwanted thought jumps in, like for me, like I'm gonna be honest and tell you, my first rookie sessions of meditation, I would try to control the script, right? And I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to control the script. Like, all right, so ready? Because in my mind,
that takes effort.
Right? Because in my mind, I'm thinking
that takes a lot of effort.
I've always heard clear. You want to clear your
language, man. I get it. Clear your mind.
And I'm like,
how? Hold on.
Your mind. So
everything come out yet?
Ready? I'm like, so think about white, white screen.
Oh, you could do that. So visualizations could help you clear your mind, right? That can help. I don't know if it can clear your mind, but it can help give you a clean canvas. But I can guarantee you, in 10 seconds, splatter of paint.
Exactly. So I was gonna say, give it a few minutes in, and you're gonna realize, here we go.
Yeah, the mind doesn't wait long.
Here we go.
A few minutes is actually pretty good.
And if you remember, I would always say, I'd fight with it. Like I'd want to fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, realize that is normal. As a matter of fact, as somebody who has meditated for a while now, it still happens in the sense
it happens to everybody who meditates.
Right? It's an unscripted thought because we don't speak brain, but we think we can. So,
yeah.
So
we really think we can.
So because we think we can, we give it an interpretation,
and that's how you get sucked in and identified and attached.
And I'm telling you, I'm here talking, I'm here preaching, but it happens to me.
Sure,
it happens, because we're human, right?
Hand up, happens to me. I'm the guy saying, we're saying all these great things, but it happens. It's not about it happening. It's about choosing to do that. It's choosing to re-engage again. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Choosing to re-engage again. That's it.
And notice that I didn't want this. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. It's going to come in like it's going to go out. Honestly, it's going to go in because I'm not focusing on the thought. When I'm meditating, I'm focusing on, I used to focus on my breath. Now I focus on a saying, the TM thing.
Yeah, whatever flavor you like.
Whatever. Actually, I love, and that's another thing. I love to pick different styles of meditation. Like on YouTube, let me tell you something. YouTube can be crap if you look for crap, and it could be gold if you look for gold.
Yeah.
I found so many channels of meditation, guided. They're great. They're great because the little music in the background is very pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, if you find something you like, you find something you like, you stick with
it. I like experimenting.
Whatever you enjoy. Yeah, it's fine.
I just, it keeps everything like fun. It keeps it like, it does the job, and different. And like, I want to
Does
see.
it have to be something different all the time? Can you do the
No,
same one repetitive? Like, can you do the same one over and over and over again,
I can.
and still be able to
I can.
get what the true purpose of it
I can.
from it?
But you know what I noticed about the same over and over again is that I get into a pattern, and I don't want to. I don't want it to be patternish. I want it to be where I'm really, for example, let's go with a concrete example. So if we go back to my first meditation, and I would sit there and say, all right, we're going to focus, breathe, focus on the breathing, and we're going to focus on the air going in and the air going out.
I remember you say that.
After a certain amount of time, it became, I'm going to use the word monotonous, but it became kind of like, I am now doing this like without mind, like mindfulness. Instead of,
Yeah, but isn't the point of it is
no. It's I can't really relate to you. It's almost like
right,
robotic.
the reason I brought it up before is this is the only thing I tell people, and I learned this from Alex Mills actually, because before he went to the monastery, he said he'd read book after book after book after book, and do meditation after meditation, try all these different things because he was constantly looking for something different, better, and needed to know more and more and more, and that just kept him trapped in his mind and chasing what's next, what's better than
Oh,
this,
he had a mission. Yeah.
what's different from this, how can I okay, how's this book better than that book? And how do I read? I want to need to know more about this. So it's like it can only get monotonous if your mind is telling you it's monotonous and you've actually aligned and attached to your mind where your mind is saying this is monotonous. The feeling of hey, I enjoy breathing this way one day, and then I enjoy maybe just focusing on my body another day is different because those are different ways to enter that portal of mindful of awareness. But it's when we start saying, like, you see the word like monotonous. That's why I brought it up. The word like monotonous means my mind is telling me this is boring, and I need to switch it up. Why is my mind in control of my meditations right now? The point of a meditation is for me not to be void of mind, but to be able to watch the mind and not attach to what it's saying. Meditations usually to the mind are monotonous and boring and time consuming and a waste of time. And bro, I really don't need to be here doing this
On purpose.
on purpose. Right? That's the mind. The mind's gonna do this.
Yeah.
So if your mind's telling you, Henry, we need something different. The question I would ask my mind, this is a good reflection for you. Why is your mind, and I know why it's good, but look into what's the purpose that your mind is telling you we need to do something different. A meditation is a portal. And we all like doing different types of meditations, right? I'm not a bit sit down for a long time kind of guy meditation. I'm more of I just watch myself thought in an empty space meditation. I could walk and I watch myself think. I watch myself think. For me, that's my meditation. I'm just an observer of my mind at times, right? And some freaky shit flies through there, but I'm an observer of my mind. For me, that's my meditation. So it's like, are we attaching again when our mind says this is a little monotonous? I need something different because now it's okay. So what's next? And then what's next? So I wasn't trying to come down. I'm not trying. It's more for the people like who are listening to make that point. Yeah,
I appreciate the observation. So Alex Mills, I think, was searching for something.
Yes, he was. He says it.
In my case, no. Like I'll go back to what I call my first style of meditation. I go back to it occasionally. It's just a matter of I can't explain it. It's almost like at the gym, I'll do overhead press. Sure, but I will like I
do free weights,
I do laterals, and I do
It's just to experience maybe something a little.
I
different.
like the diversity of the different.
Understood.
That's it. So when I said it was monotonous, my original form of meditation, which was again my first thing that I myself did, that I found myself, I was like, I think I tried that. I've tried Dr. Joe, the 25-minute ones and stuff like that. So I love those. But you know what? There were days where
Guided ones are easier because they take
love
you along
guided.
a ride. Yeah.
But I gotta say, there were days where the guided one, the Dr. Joe, took me beautifully, like to that Zen area where nothing is really coming in anymore.
Yeah, it's great.
And then there are days where I'll do the same one. It doesn't.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's like the old the old adage when the student goes up to his spiritual teacher, his guru, and says, "Teacher, teacher," he goes, "I had the best meditation today. My mind was clear. My soul was calm. And there was an aura around me." And the teacher looks at him and just says these words. He goes, "This will pass." and the student's like, "Oh." Comes back the next week. "Teacher, teacher, I had the worst meditation. My mind was all over the place. I couldn't anchor in my being. My soul was clouded. I felt all irritated and erratic." And the teacher just looks at me and goes, "This will pass." I mean, there's no good or bad
Get it?
meditation.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. There is only meditation.
Yeah.
Watching it happen. Enjoy the good ones because they're fun. They feel nice, right? But when the bad ones come on, or the unproductive ones, or the ones where your mind's more active. And I should say unproductive. When your mind's more active, don't cast them aside as that was a bad meditation.
No, yeah.
Actually, technically, when your mind is more active, is when you're flexing your muscle and getting and strengthening your awareness. Because when our mind is clear, it's easy to be aware. When our mind is active is when we put our awareness to a little bit of we put it through the, what's the word I'm looking for?
The grinder.
Not the grinder. When you're working out, you're putting it through the paces. You're putting it through the paces now. You're like, all right.
But it is like working out because
yeah, exactly, sure.
You know you should go to the gym. Today was a scheduled gym day. You want to go to the gym. You know it's doing you good, but so depressed. I'm so you know what? I'm beat down. But you still went to the gym. You found enough
to go.
And when you got there, man, your sets were great. Your lifts were great. Just a meditation. You needed it. You needed it. And you wanted it. And you feel great that you did it.
Sure.
You didn't let
the thought
that you, if you didn't have that thought, would you do it?
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes it is physical for sure. Sometimes it's physical. Sometimes but many times it's not.
Yeah, but even the physical, it's usually attached to a thought. You don't just feel low and go, let's go to the gym. No, it's usually, I'm so tired. Like there has to be a language and a thought that comes with it because we've evolved to that, right? Oh. We're not primates anymore who walk around and just, we think we have an intuition and we don't do something. Nowadays, our mind has evolved so much, it has this thinking process that it goes through. There's always going to be a thought attached to a feeling or whatever it might be.
That damn thought.
No, not that damn thought. Thank you, thought. Come along, thought.
Yeah, we just don't speak.
Join the fun, thought. No. I got into the habit. I became a victim of my own. I became a victim of what a victim of what I preach about, right? And I was wisest thought here, right? And until I heard myself saying it, I'm like, what am I doing?
So without noticing it,
what am I doing?
You were trying to drown it out, or you were trying to have it
for a very short period of time. I was, and it was causing me a lot of anxiety. I was trying to wish it away. Why would this be happening to me? I'm a person who spends so much time overcoming and navigating through this, and I'm mindful and I'm present and I'm this. Why? How did my mind? It's not how did my mind. It's I allowed myself to attach to it, and because I'm a human being. And I was told when I was talking to, I was talking to somebody, and this person told me straight up, they said, I told them, I said, I forgot the humanity part of it, right? It was Dr. Tatiana, and she told me, so I was talking to her about a week and a half ago, and I was telling her about this, and she told me, she goes, and I said, I forgot about the humanity about this, and she goes, I love that you said that. She goes, you are human. She goes, don't forget that. And when we forget it is when we attach, because we forget. You're human. You attached, you reset, and you moved on. That's the thing. And it's going to happen again where my mind's going to want to attach to something because I'm a human being.
All right, so I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to do a plug. I'm not trying to be Mr. Marketing. But this is why watching a show like this once a week is great for a reminder
Oh yeah.
because it just reminds you of things. For example, that very act of don't try to block a thought. Hey, the thought came in. The thought came in. Welcome, thought. Sit down, have a seat. I'm just not going to pay attention to you right now. But you kind of need that reminder. You kind of need that.
Sure, we're human and we forget.
Just like I watch my videos. You read your books. And by the way, I listened to the Eckhart Tolle.
That video I sent you?
John,
Wasn't it great the way he talks about manifestation in the end? I loved it. Yeah.
this freaking guy, and I forget somebody else had the same.
Yeah, what he said wasn't something like.
No, but it's a gift. The gift is this. The gift is that as he's talking, you're like, I would not have put those words together, but the way he put those words together is exactly what I feel. That's exactly what I feel, but I don't know how to tell that to you. I don't know how to repeat that without repeating his words. So like he's talking, he goes, and you're like, yes. And you're like, yeah, you get it. It's like, you get it. He fucking gets it, yeah.
You are the cake. You forget he goes, and if you get what you want, that's the icing on the cake. He goes, but beautiful manifestation, he goes, you realize you are the cake already. You already have what you want. Live as if you have what you want. And if it ultimately does happen for you, he goes, that's just the icing on it. And I was like, oh, that's great. I love that.
That's the premise for a lot of the manifestations and
sure,
yeah. It's the premise. It's basically act as if it already happened.
It already happened. Yeah. And Jesus said the same thing.
Really? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he says the same thing. He talks about it in different ways, but I forgot exactly what it was.
He texted me the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, I don't think he's...
What did he say? I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said something to the same thing.
Well, he must have, because we're not rediscovering America.
No, these are we forgot.
Timeless.
So mindfulness and awareness is something that's been around for eons. It's the way human beings used to live their lives years ago. I mean, then as time went on, as our mind kept developing and we got more intelligent and we created more and more things, we became a victim of the same thing that brought us to where we were. We attached to it too much and we stopped watching it. Right. And as man has constantly evolved, that's happened. But I think, and a lot of spiritual teachers talk about, there's a precipice right now where even though they feel things are still progressing the wrong way as far as that goes, there's a shift that's happened to where people are starting to realize it and shift back to a mindful world where they're aware of their thinking mind and their thoughts and their feelings and their emotions and not just blindly following them. And that shift, even though it's not massive maybe yet, it's important that it's starting to happen, because or else, what do I say, hell in a handbasket?
Oh, but that's interesting. That's interesting. That it's actually, so it's increasing.
Yeah, it's increasing, especially in the West. Remember, this country knew it was like
me.
It was all the mind and I. Now there's a very big shift in this country of mindfulness and meditation and awareness and presence. And look, when modern psychology catches up to it with things like acceptance and commitment therapy, which is basically a scientific form of mindfulness and Eastern spiritual teachings, when people are writing books on it and famous psychologists are talking more and more and more about watching your mind and being mindful and being present in life, you see that there's a shift, that even science is coming and going, yes, there's something to this consciousness. There's something to this. There's where before in this country it didn't exist, even though it did in Asia and places like that for eons. It's been around, and that's how they live their lives. Here now it's starting to take a foothold. And by taking a foothold here, other industrialized countries, like in Europe, start to also, it filters through them. And more people are starting to, are starting to kind of buy into it and realize that there's a lot of benefits to it. So.
Yeah, because I would imagine it's timeless. It's timeless.
Of course it's timeless. Yeah, man. Shit. But,
yeah.
all right.
Anyway.
Anything else?
Yeah, we solved the world's problems.
Problem solved. World done.
Done.
That's it.
That's it.
There's peace in the Middle East, and hunger has been solved all over the world. We're
You
done.
didn't hear about that?
No, yeah.
The Palestinian and the Jews, they called it a day.
Did they really?
They called it a day. They're like, hey,
Are you joking?
We'll
For
break
real?
some bread.
I don't
No,
watch
I'm
much news.
joking.
I don't. I wish they would have.
They call it's a new Thanksgiving. It's called the new Thanksgiving.
Why not? It wouldn't be a bad idea if you guys. No, we don't have anybody from the Middle East. We have a lot of people in Asia watching. Asia and Russia, believe it or not. I had a few downloads from Russia.
Vladimir.
Hey, why not? He could use it probably.
If you're watching.
He could use it probably. So, no, we don't have many. Israel. We had some downloads in Israel, but I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Influential in Israel.
So, hey, listen, if you're listening, hopefully this helps you avoid suffering.
Yes.
Unnecessary suffering.
And realize that if these two guys can do it, trust me.
And you want to see how synced we are? I was telling him before the show that I hurt my left bicep, right? Arm wrestling my 19-year-old son, which I shouldn't do. And my sports medicine doctor told me, he goes, yeah, dumb. Why would you do that? He's going to win all the time. I learned that. Anyway, I must have strained the tendon or something. So my biceps been very sore whenever I do anything for the last couple of weeks. Henry's like, no way, your left arm? I'm like, yeah, my left arm. He's like, me too. Then I go, but my right hip also. Goes, no way. He goes, me too, my right hip. Look, we're in sync that even our physical ailments that we incur.
And just so you know, I'm not full of crap. I'm like, I point to exactly the area. He goes, holy shit, yeah. And yeah, so me from lifting weights with a 17-year-old.
And me from arm wrestling a 19-year-old.
Yeah. I can't keep up, my boy. I can't keep up.
Neither can I.
Yeah. But good, that's anything.
Anyway, just a little fun tidbit there. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening in. We're actually going to keep this one under an hour. Early dismissal for you guys today.
Congratulations. But you know what that means? Longer meditation for you.
Yes, you stay after we're done. Because I got dinner.
Yeah, I got dinner.
All right. So everybody, thank you for listening in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, any questions, comments, click subscribe if you're on YouTube. Click follow us if you're on Facebook at Universal Lens. You can follow me at John Emilio. Follow my buddy Henry Beltra. Yeah. He's got a couple pages. Weichert, Henry Beltra, then
Enrique. The reason
it's Enrique.
It's got to be the name on the license.
Yes. He's Enrique Beltra on Facebook. You can follow him. Follow his Weichert page. If you're into real estate, you're looking to buy a house.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug for my boy here.
Buy or sell. Yeah.
Buy or sell.
In New Jersey.
Instagram, you can follow us on at the Universal Lens. That's under me.
Yep.
YouTube, Universal Lens. Anyway, wherever you guys are, follow, click, drop a comment if you want once in a while.
Let us know you're alive.
Yeah, let us know you're alive. I know you guys are listening, but listen, talk to us. Maybe, maybe we'll have a great conversation and we'll meet somebody who wants to speak to us and be on the show. We'd love to have even a guest on the show.
Are you still looking for candidates?
For what? For guests?
Coaching.
I have a couple right now that will probably finish my practice, but like soon after that, if you know anybody you could always send them my way. Because if anything, I could always say, listen, give me a couple more weeks. I'm going to finish my class and then I'll start.
There you go.
And I'll start. But yeah, no, anybody who wants to be coached. I mean, I'm studying. I'm almost done with my certification to become a certified life coach and certified spiritual life coach. So it's both. But it'll be more of what you see on this show is kind of what my flow is going to be and how we're going to do things. So, yeah. You can hit me up, DM me on Instagram if you want in the meantime. But I'll be putting updates as I get closer with that on my Linktree page and maybe a website and stuff. I got to get to all that afterwards. But that's it. See, now you're not going to get out early. That's Henry's fault. You were getting out early, but now you're not. All right. So anyway, thank you guys for listening in. And we'll see you next week. And let's do what we always do and ground ourselves in a little bit of peace and serenity, a little bit of inner peace and mind watching. So however you are seated or if you are standing, that is fine as long as you are not driving. Or if you are, pull over and put it in park first.
Give it a try.
Let's take a few deep breaths, as we always like to do, to just kind of slow stuff down. Do a 2 to 3 second inhale, then you can do a 2 to 3 second hold, followed by an equal exhale. Just repeat that pattern a few times as we breathe, allowing any thoughts, any emotions, any feelings, any anxieties, any fears, anything that's coming up to just rise up and realize that is not our thought. We did not ask for that thought to be there. We did not bring that thought up. We thank the mind for giving it to us, and we refocus on that breath. As the awareness, we have a choice always to focus where and what we want to do, to control that next action. If you're holding any tension in your body, try to spot it out. If it's in your shoulders, forehead, jaw, anywhere, notice it. No judgment to why it's there. And just release. Enjoy the release. Just continue breathing. Let's take a couple of more. Last one. You slowly open your eyes. If you're in a rhythm, stay here, guys. Do it for a little bit longer, as long as you choose. Or else, we're out. I gotta go eat. So it's Henry. I'm Italian. I need my food. All right, guys. Peace. Love you. See you guys next time. The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.